Story 1. The Dollmaker's Legacy. Have you ever stumbled upon a town that seems so ordinary it could be any town on any given day? I bet you have. Now imagine that same seemingly unremarkable town but with a peculiar secret. Picture a place where the everyday routine hides a chilling mystery and the locals talk in hushed whispers about the enigmatic dollmaker who resides there. So here I was, just a regular person, navigating through the mundane maze of life in this quiet town. The streets lined with cozy houses, friendly neighbors, and a bakery that made the best cinnamon rolls. You know, the usual. Everything seemed normal until I heard about the renowned dollmaker. At first, it was just a passing conversation over coffee at the local diner. People spoke of lifelike dolls that the dollmaker crafted with an unsettling aura, like they held some dark secret. I chuckled, thinking it was just another small-town rumor. Little did I know that this seemingly innocent piece of gossip would lead me down a rabbit hole of inexplicable occurrences. The oddities began subtly, like a whisper of wind on a quiet night. Strange shadows that flickered when there was no one around, unexplained noises that echoed through empty alleys. I brushed them off, thinking it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. After all, it was just a regular town, right? But then, the peculiarities escalated. Reflections in storefront windows revealed fleeting glimpses of figures standing just behind me. Each time I turned around, there was no one there. The unease settled in, but I attributed it to stress or lack of sleep. That's what we always do, isn't it? Rationalize the irrational. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets, I passed by the dollmaker's shop. The lights inside flickered, casting an eerie glow. I caught a glimpse of a doll, its eyes seemingly following me. I shook it off, chalking it up to the play of light. Then came the moments of chilling realization, those heart-stopping instances when I noticed someone standing behind me in the reflection. But when I turned, there was no one there. The once familiar town became a labyrinth of uncertainties, and the dollmaker's creations felt like silent witnesses to my growing fear. So, cryptic lords, have you ever been in a place where the line between reality and imagination blurs? Where the ordinary conceals something sinister, and the more you try to escape, the deeper you fall into the unknown. Welcome to my world, where the dolls have secrets, the shadows whisper, and the town's ordinary facade hides a mystery that refuses to stay in the shadows. Cryptic lords, let me take you deeper into the heart of this peculiar town where whispers are as common as the morning breeze. The residents here speak of the dolls, those lifelike creations of the mysterious dollmaker. It's not just about their unsettling aura anymore, it's something more. They claim the dolls have a life of their own, moving silently in the dead of night, whispering secrets only the shadows can hear. I started hearing these tales from neighbors who spoke of soft murmurs echoing through the streets, carried by the wind. Whispers that seemed to come from the dollmaker's shop itself. At first, I thought it was just the wind playing tricks, weaving stories through the cracks in the windows. But as the nights went by, the whispers became clearer, more purposeful. It felt like the dolls were trying to communicate, to share their hidden truths with anyone willing to listen. The tension in the air thickened with each passing day. As I walked past the dollmaker's shop, the stories intensified. The dolls, once neatly arranged, appeared to shift positions ever so slightly. It could have been my imagination, I thought. Maybe fatigue was playing tricks on my eyes. Yet, the unease settled in, a persistent feeling that something beyond explanation was happening in the heart of this ordinary town. One night, unable to resist the allure of the mysterious whispers, I found myself standing outside the dollmaker's shop. The moon cast eerie shadows, and the dolls seemed to stir in their own silent dance. The whispers grew louder, forming words that sent shivers down my spine. It was as if the dolls held secrets they were desperate to share. Cryptic lords, imagine standing alone in the silence of the night, surrounded by dolls with secrets and shadows whispering ancient tales. The town that once felt comforting now harbored a mystery that surpassed the boundaries of ordinary fear. The dolls, once mere creations, now seemed like conduits to an otherworldly realm, where the line between reality and nightmare blurred into a chilling dance of the unknown. And so the story unfolds, with the dolls as the silent narrators of a tale that defies explanation. Cryptic lords, you won't believe what happened next. A bunch of skeptics, my friends, and I decided to put the eerie tales to the test. Let's spend a night in the doll maker's abandoned workshop, we challenged each other, thinking it would be a good laugh. Little did we know, the dolls had a different plan for our night. So there we were, a group of friends seeking a thrill, huddled in the dark corners of the deserted workshop. The air was thick with anticipation as we set up camp, armed with flashlights and nervous laughter. The dolls, once inanimate creations, now seemed to watch us with a malevolent presence, their eyes gleaming in the dim light. At first we scoffed at the stories. Whispers in the night? Moving dolls. Come on, we joked, trying to mask the growing unease. But as the night wore on, the atmosphere changed. The whispers we heard before became sinister murmurs, like a chorus of secrets echoing through the abandoned workshop. Shadows danced across the walls, and the dolls, once neatly arranged, now stood in disarray, as if mocking our skepticism. Then it happened. A chilling realization that sent shivers down our spines. The dolls, once confined to their places, started moving. Slowly at first, then with an unnatural speed as if propelled by an unseen force. We couldn't believe our eyes, and fear gripped us like a vice. Cryptic lords, imagine the terror of realizing that the dolls, once thought to be lifeless, were now animated by something beyond our comprehension. We tried to escape, stumbling over each other in the darkness, but the dolls seemed to anticipate our every move. Their silent whispers grew louder, forming a symphony of malevolence that filled the air. Desperation set in. Fearing for our lives, we made a frantic escape from the workshop, leaving behind the cursed place that had become a nightmare. As we ran, the whispers followed us, haunting our every step. We vowed never to return, but the memory of that night lingers, a bone-chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left untouched. And cryptic lords, here's the twist that will make your skin crawl. As we fled, I glanced back one last time, only to see the dolls arranged in a perfect circle, their eyes fixed on me. In that haunting moment, I realized the dolls weren't the victims. We were the intruders in their domain. The workshop, once abandoned, now housed a malevolent force that waited for unsuspecting skeptics like us. The line between the living and the lifeless had blurred, leaving us with an experience that transcended the ordinary, plunging us into a world where the dolls held a power beyond our understanding. Sleep well tonight, cryptic lords, and beware the whispers in the darkness. Cryptic lords, the horror that unfolded that night in the dollmaker's workshop was only the beginning. Intrigued by the malevolent force we encountered, we delved deeper into the dark history of the dollmaker and the tragic stories behind each unnerving creation. What we uncovered sent shivers down our spines, revealing a legacy of supernatural retribution that ensnared not just us, but anyone who dared to enter the dollmaker's realm. As we researched, the seemingly ordinary town unfolded its twisted secrets. The dollmaker, a figure shrouded in mystery, had a dark past stained with tragedy. Each lifelike creation was a vessel, carrying the soul of a once living person. The dolls were more than mere inanimate objects. They were conduits for vengeance, seeking retribution for the wrongs committed against them. Cryptic lords, imagine the weight of the realization that we were not dealing with simple paranormal activity, but a force driven by the anguish of those wronged. The dolls, with their unsettling aura, were not malevolent on their own. They were instruments of a supernatural justice that spanned generations. As the night wore on, the whispers we heard in the workshop transformed into voices, telling tales of sorrow and betrayal. The dolls, once perceived as mere creations, became vessels of lament, each one carrying the tragic story of a life cut short. We were entwined in a legacy of supernatural retribution, caught in a web of sorrow spun by the doll maker's hands. Desperation set in as we realized the gravity of our situation. The escape from the workshop was not just a retreat from animated dolls. It was a desperate flight from the consequences of meddling with forces beyond our understanding. The cursed coastal cottage, now a symbol of our ill-fated curiosity, loomed in the distance as we vowed never to return. But here's the twist, cryptic lords, that will make your skin crawl. As we left the town, a heavy fog enveloped our path, and in the dim light, the dolls appeared on the roadside, their eyes gleaming with a spectral glow. The voices of the wronged souls echoed in the mist, whispering that we could never truly escape the legacy we had become a part of. The dolls, now guardians of a twisted justice, watched us with a knowing gaze, ensuring that our escape was just the beginning of a haunting journey into the realm of supernatural retribution. Sleep well, cryptic lords, for the dolls may be closer than you think, carrying the weight of tragic stories and seeking justice in the shadows. Cryptic lords dive into thrilling mysteries and chilling tales on our channel. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers to unlock more eerie adventures together. Subscribe now and join our community exploring the enigmatic. Story 2: The Silent Streets. Cryptic lords, have you ever imagined a place where the familiar night sounds like crickets chirping or the distant hum of a passing car suddenly vanish into thin air? Picture this, a small town just like the one you probably live in. It's cozy, everyone knows each other, and the routine is as predictable as the sunrise. But what if, every night, a bizarre phenomenon shrouds the town in an eerie quiet? I stumbled upon such a place, and let me tell you, it's no ordinary story. You know how it goes. Dusk settles in, the streetlights flicker to life, and the neighborhood settles into its nightly routine. But in this peculiar town, as the darkness blankets everything, a strange hush descends. No chirps, no distant laughter, just an absolute unsettling silence. At first, I figured it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Must be some kind of audio glitch, I reasoned, shaking off the goosebumps. As the nights rolled on, though, the weirdness escalated. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of my vision, playing tricks on my sleep-deprived mind. And then came the noises, strange, unidentifiable sounds that echoed through the quiet streets. Creaks, whispers, and rustles that made me question my sanity. But no one else seemed to notice. It was as if the entire town had collectively decided to ignore the abnormal, cocooned in their obliviousness. One night, as I peered into my bathroom mirror, the reflection staring back at me wasn't mine. It mimicked my movements perfectly, yet those eyes were cold and unfamiliar. Panic set in, and I stumbled backward, but the reflection held its ground. It was like a sinister doppelganger taunting me from the other side of the glass. And then there were the moments of sheer terror, sudden interruptions in the silence. A soft whisper in my ear when I knew I was alone, the feeling of someone watching me in an empty room. Each time I turned around expecting to find an explanation, but there was none, just the oppressive silence. Cryptic lords, imagine this. Every night, the normal becomes the abnormal, and the abnormal becomes the stuff of nightmares. It's like living in a twilight zone where the rules of reality bend and twist, leaving you with a growing sense of unease. I can't explain it, but I can't escape it either. So, let me leave you with this question. What if the silence that envelops this town isn't just the absence of sound, but a harbinger of something darker, something lurking just beyond our understanding? Join me, cryptic lords, as we unravel the mysteries of this town and confront the unsettling truths that hide in the quiet. Picture this, cryptic lords, A quaint countryside Airbnb, an old coastal cottage tucked away from the hustle and bustle. My group of friends and I were eager for a relaxing weekend escape, blissfully unaware of the bizarre secret this place harbored. As the sun dipped below the horizon, signaling the arrival of night, an unsettling atmosphere descended upon the cottage. As darkness draped the landscape, an oppressive silence settled in. We soon realized that an unspoken rule governed this eerie retreat. No one could utter a single sound after sunset. Attempts to break the silence were met with an invisible force, rendering our voices mute. It wasn't a matter of choice. It was as if the very air absorbed our words, leaving us in a hushed and unsettling quiet. You can imagine the frustration and confusion that gripped our group. Laughter turned into stifled chuckles, and conversations were reduced to awkward glances and puzzled expressions. The once lively atmosphere now felt like a cryptic stage, where the absence of sound spoke louder than any words we could muster. As the night progressed, the cottage transformed into a chamber of dread. Shadows seemed to stretch and contort in unnatural ways, and the silence became more suffocating with each passing moment. We found ourselves communicating through frantic gestures, attempting to break the inexplicable barrier that held our voices captive. Cryptic lords, the inexplicable silence pushed us to the brink of terror. It was as if the cottage itself demanded our compliance, enforcing a rule that defied the very essence of our existence. The air was heavy with the weight of the unspoken, and the once inviting retreat now felt like a trap. Then came the chilling twist, an ominous revelation that turned our weekend escape into a nightmare. In a desperate attempt to communicate, one of my friends resorted to writing a message on a piece of paper. As the words formed on the page, we realized the horrifying truth. Our written words echoed through the silence, reaching an unseen audience that reveled in our vulnerability. Cryptic lords, imagine the sheer horror as we understood the malevolent force at play. Our every whispered secret, every quiet conversation, it wasn't just between us. The walls absorbed our words, and the unseen entities that lurked in the shadows fed on our fears. It wasn't a getaway. It was a twisted game where silence was the price we paid for our stay. Fearing for our lives, we made a frantic escape in the dead of night, leaving behind the cursed coastal cottage. As we sped away from that nightmarish place, the weight of the silence lifted and our voices returned. But the haunting memories lingered, etched in our minds like a chilling melody that refuses to fade. Cryptic lords, beware the seemingly tranquil retreats, for behind the calming facade may lie a silence that hungers for your words and a twisted secret that leaves you forever haunted. Cryptic lords, imagine a group of friends just like you and your buddies, seeking a bit of adventure at an old countryside Airbnb. The excitement in the air was palpable as we arrived at the quaint cottage, nestled far from the chaos of the city. Little did we know that this weekend escape would plunge us into a mystery that defied explanation. As night fell, the once lively atmosphere shifted. An inexplicable quietness wrapped around us like a heavy fog. Initially dismissing it as the natural hush of the countryside, we soon realized there was something peculiar about this silence. It wasn't just the absence of sounds. It felt like the air itself was holding its breath. Curiosity and skepticism crept into our minds, and we decided to unravel the enigma that shrouded our retreat. In the dim light of the cottage, our group huddled together, devising a plan to investigate the eerie quietness. Armed with flashlights and a healthy dose of skepticism, we ventured into the surrounding darkness. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, amplifying the rustling leaves and our cautious footsteps. Cryptic lords, the suspense heightened as we delved deeper into the mystery. Shadows danced on the periphery of our vision, and every sound, no matter how slight, echoed with a haunting resonance. Yet, our skepticism pushed us forward, determined to demystify the silent shroud that gripped the countryside. But the twist came when we stumbled upon an ancient diary hidden in the depths of the cottage. Its pages unfolded a tale of a bygone era, detailing a curse that bound the land to a pact of silence. As we read the words, an oppressive weight settled upon us, a realization that our investigation had awakened forces beyond our comprehension. Cryptic lords, the chilling revelation sent shivers down our spines. The silence wasn't just a quirk of the countryside, it was a supernatural force woven into the very fabric of the place. Our attempts to uncover the mystery had inadvertently broken the delicate balance, unleashing a malevolent presence that hungered for our voices. In the ensuing darkness, the atmosphere grew colder, and unseen eyes seemed to watch our every move. Jump scares echoed through the cottage as whispers brushed against our ears. Panic set in, and we understood that our skepticism had led us into a trap, a place where the price of curiosity was an eternal hush. Fearing for our lives, we made a desperate escape, leaving the cursed coastal cottage behind. The air outside was thick with the weight of the silence we had disturbed. As we sped away, the haunting memory of that night lingered, a bone-chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left untouched. Cryptic lords, heed this cautionary tale, for in the pursuit of unraveling the unknown, one might unwittingly awaken forces that crave not just our words, but the very essence of our existence. The silence may seem harmless, but behind it lies a darkness that preys on the curious and skeptical, leaving them forever haunted by the echoes of their own curiosity. Cryptic lords, imagine the group of friends, now gripped by a sense of dread, delving into the town's history in a desperate attempt to untangle the sinister web of silence. As we sifted through the dusty archives and whispered tales of the locals, a dark secret began to unravel, revealing a connection to a long-forgotten tragedy that cast the town into a perpetual silence. The town, it seemed, was haunted by the echoes of a heart-wrenching event from decades past. A tragedy so profound that its repercussions lingered, trapping the community in a mute prison. The discovery of a forgotten cemetery, tucked away in the shadows of the town, hinted at the magnitude of the sorrow that had befallen its residents. Cryptic lords, as we pieced together the fragments of the town's history, we stumbled upon a chilling revelation. Decades ago, a devastating fire had ravaged the heart of the community, claiming the lives of many. The survivors, burdened by grief and guilt, made a solemn pact, a vow of eternal silence to honor the memories of those lost in the flames. The once thriving town became a ghostly shell, its streets echoing with the haunted whispers of the past. We realized that the inexplicable silence that gripped the town was not just a quirk of nature. It was a self-imposed penance, a collective hush born from a tragedy too painful to bear. Yet the twist came when we unearthed a cryptic message etched on an old gravestone. It spoke of a way to break the town's silence, a ritual that required outsiders to willingly embrace the weight of the unspeakable sorrow. We found ourselves standing at the crossroads of a decision, to continue unraveling the town's dark secret or succumb to the chilling embrace of its perpetual silence. Cryptic lords, the bone-chilling plot twist unfolded as we hesitated, torn between curiosity and self-preservation. As the clock struck midnight, the town seemed to come alive with an otherworldly energy. Shadows twisted and contorted, and whispers danced on the edges of our consciousness. In that moment of hesitation, we unwittingly became conduits for the suppressed voices of the past. Jump scares punctuated the air as the spirits of the long-departed manifested around us. Their mournful cries echoed through the once silent streets, drowning us in a symphony of anguish. We had unintentionally triggered a spectral uprising, unleashing the tormented souls who sought release from the shackles of their tragic history. Cryptic lords, the twisted climax left us paralyzed with fear. The town's dark secret was a curse intertwined with the very fabric of its existence, and we had become unwitting catalysts in the unleashing of a spectral reckoning. As we fled, the whispers of the past pursued us, a chilling reminder that some secrets are better left buried in the silent depths of history. So, take heed, cryptic lords, for not all mysteries are meant to be unraveled. Sometimes the past guards its secrets with a silence so profound that disturbing it can lead to a bone-chilling twist, where the echoes of tragedy come alive and the boundary between the living and the dead blurs into an unsettling abyss. Cryptic lords, if this spine-chilling tale has left you craving more hair-raising adventures and eerie escapades, make sure to subscribe for more. Story 2: The Silent Streets. Cryptic lords, have you ever imagined a place where the familiar night sounds like crickets chirping or the distant hum of a passing car suddenly vanish into thin air? Picture this, a small town just like the one you probably live in. It's cozy, everyone knows each other, and the routine is as predictable as the sunrise. But what if every night a bizarre phenomenon shrouds the town in an eerie quiet? I stumbled upon such a place, and let me tell you, it's no ordinary story. You know how it goes. Dusk settles in, the streetlights flicker to life, and the neighborhood settles into its nightly routine. But in this peculiar town, as the darkness blankets everything, a strange hush descends. No chirps, no distant laughter, just an absolute unsettling silence. At first, I figured it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Must be some kind of audio glitch, I reasoned, shaking off the goosebumps. As the nights rolled on, though, the weirdness escalated. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of my vision, playing tricks on my sleep-deprived mind. And then came the noises, strange, unidentifiable sounds that echoed through the quiet streets. Creaks, whispers, and rustles that made me question my sanity. But no one else seemed to notice. It was as if the entire town had collectively decided to ignore the abnormal, cocooned in their obliviousness. One night, as I peered into my bathroom mirror, the reflection staring back at me wasn't mine. It mimicked my movements perfectly, yet those eyes were cold and unfamiliar. Panic set in, and I stumbled backward, but the reflection held its ground. It was like a sinister doppelganger taunting me from the other side of the glass. And then there were the moments of sheer terror, sudden interruptions in the silence. A soft whisper in my ear when I knew I was alone, the feeling of someone watching me in an empty room. Each time I turned around expecting to find an explanation, but there was none, just the oppressive silence. Cryptic lords, imagine this. Every night the normal becomes the abnormal, and the abnormal becomes the stuff of nightmares. It's like living in a twilight zone where the rules of reality bend and twist, leaving you with a growing sense of unease. I can't explain it, but I can't escape it either. So, let me leave you with this question. What if the silence that envelops this town isn't just the absence of sound, but a harbinger of something darker, something lurking just beyond our understanding? Join me, cryptic lords, as we unravel the mysteries of this town and confront the unsettling truths that hide in the quiet. Picture this, cryptic lords, a quaint countryside Airbnb, an old coastal cottage tucked away from the hustle and bustle. My group of friends and I were eager for a relaxing weekend escape, blissfully unaware of the bizarre secret this place harbored. As the sun dipped below the horizon, signaling the arrival of night, an unsettling atmosphere descended upon the cottage. As darkness draped the landscape, an oppressive silence settled in. We soon realized that an unspoken rule governed this eerie retreat. No one could utter a single sound after sunset. Attempts to break the silence were met with an invisible force, rendering our voices mute. It wasn't a matter of choice. It was as if the very air absorbed our words, leaving us in a hushed and unsettling quiet. You can imagine the frustration and confusion that gripped our group. Laughter turned into stifled chuckles, and conversations were reduced to awkward glances and puzzled expressions. The once lively atmosphere now felt like a cryptic stage, where the absence of sound spoke louder than any words we could muster. As the night progressed, the cottage transformed into a chamber of dread. Shadows seemed to stretch and contort in unnatural ways, and the silence became more suffocating with each passing moment. We found ourselves communicating through frantic gestures, attempting to break the inexplicable barrier that held our voices captive. Cryptic lords, the inexplicable silence pushed us to the brink of terror. It was as if the cottage itself demanded our compliance, enforcing a rule that defied the very essence of our existence. The air was heavy with the weight of the unspoken, and the once inviting retreat now felt like a trap. Then came the chilling twist, an ominous revelation that turned our weekend escape into a nightmare. In a desperate attempt to communicate, one of my friends resorted to writing a message on a piece of paper. As the words formed on the page, we realized the horrifying truth. Our written words echoed through the silence, reaching an unseen audience that reveled in our vulnerability. Cryptic lords, imagine the sheer horror as we understood the malevolent force at play. Our every whispered secret, every quiet conversation, it wasn't just between us. The walls absorbed our words, and the unseen entities that lurked in the shadows fed on our fears. It wasn't a getaway. It was a twisted game where silence was the price we paid for our stay. Fearing for our lives, we made a frantic escape in the dead of night, leaving behind the cursed coastal cottage. As we sped away from that nightmarish place, the weight of the silence lifted and our voices returned. But the haunting memories lingered, etched in our minds like a chilling melody that refuses to fade. Cryptic lords, beware the seemingly tranquil retreats, for behind the calming facade may lie a silence that hungers for your words and a twisted secret that leaves you forever haunted. Cryptic lords, imagine a group of friends just like you and your buddies, seeking a bit of adventure at an old countryside Airbnb. The excitement in the air was palpable as we arrived at the quaint cottage, nestled far from the chaos of the city. Little did we know that this weekend escape would plunge us into a mystery that defied explanation. As night fell, the once lively atmosphere shifted. An inexplicable quietness wrapped around us like a heavy fog. Initially dismissing it as the natural hush of the countryside, we soon realized there was something peculiar about this silence. It wasn't just the absence of sounds. It felt like the air itself was holding its breath. Curiosity and skepticism crept into our minds, and we decided to unravel the enigma that shrouded our retreat. In the dim light of the cottage, our group huddled together, devising a plan to investigate the eerie quietness. Armed with flashlights and a healthy dose of skepticism, we ventured into the surrounding darkness. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, amplifying the rustling leaves and our cautious footsteps. Cryptic lords, the suspense heightened as we delved deeper into the mystery. Shadows danced on the periphery of our vision, and every sound, no matter how slight, echoed with a haunting resonance. Yet, our skepticism pushed us forward, determined to demystify the silent shroud that gripped the countryside. But the twist came when we stumbled upon an ancient diary hidden in the depths of the cottage. Its pages unfolded a tale of a bygone era, detailing a curse that bound the land to a pact of silence. As we read the words, an oppressive weight settled upon us, a realization that our investigation had awakened forces beyond our comprehension. "You seek the truth," it murmured, the words resonating with an otherworldly cadence. The air grew colder as ghostly figures materialized around me, their eyes hollow and fixated on a shared agony. I felt a chilling presence, an ancient force, probing the recesses of my mind. The truth I sought was unfolding, but at a cost I had not anticipated. In a ghastly revelation, the figures revealed that anyone attempting to expose the town's secrets became intertwined with its cursed destiny. My investigation had unknowingly bound me to the spectral tapestry of the vanishing village. As the figures closed in, their anguished faces contorted with each step, I realized the chilling twist. I was fated to join the ranks of the town's forsaken souls. And so, cryptic lords, the line between journalist and subject blurred as I became a living embodiment of the town's haunting legacy. The truth, a double-edged sword, cut through the veil of mystery, revealing a fate entwined with the very forces I sought to expose. As we conclude this unnerving tale, remember that some secrets are better left undiscovered, for in the pursuit of truth, one may find themselves ensnared in the macabre dance of the vanishing village. Until next we meet, stay vigilant, and may your curiosity be tempered by the shadows that linger in the periphery.